whatever season on the screen. All right, I'm on.
All right, and we have killed the music, and we are live. Hello. Appropriately timed. Hey, Cool Imp, what's going on, dude? So we are live. This is our very first game of Mass Effect, Operation Decimus. It is replacing our Firefly game, which we usually play on opposite Wednesday nights. So Firefly has been kind of put on the back burner for a little bit, and we're going to be delving into the amazing universe of Mass Effect. And so for those of you who may not have had the honor of playing these games, or the privilege, or even noticed them when they first came around, they're one of the games that kind of helped put EA on the map. And many of the people from that studio either had been involved in Knights of the Old Republic or went on later to help with the Old Republic MMO. The main writer for much of the Mass Effect universe, Drew Karpshin, I think is how you pronounce his last name, heavily involved in a lot of the critically fan-received Star Wars lore and whatnot. So yeah, he tends to do real good stuff. And when I noticed that there was a working set of RPG rules out there for Mass Effect, I was like, oh, I've always wanted to do this, not outside of a video game. I want to, I want to get my characters on outside of Shepard. Nothing wrong with Shepard. I admittedly have played through the game, I think from start to finish, at least 8 times. Especially when Andromeda was coming out. I think I got back on the bandwagon and played 1 through 3 several times again, just because I got that hyped. But so for a bit of backstory, for those of you who may be familiar with the Mass Effect universe, this game is timeline-wise is taking place between games 1 and 2. The year is 2184. Shepard, the canon character from the Mass Effect series, has just recently gone missing and is believed dead. It's roughly about 4 months after the attack on the Citadel by Geth forces, artificial intelligence that was created by the Quarians and who have kind of become a plague against the galaxy and have a lot of bad PR centered around them. They attacked with a creature by the name of Sovereign, who was attempting to attempting to access the Citadel, which is a giant space station that sits in a part of the Milky Way nebula, part of the Milky Way galaxy. Essentially, it's the capital of what's called Citadel space, and Citadel is essentially the United Nations of the intergalactic world as we know it, where most of the enlightened races that have come from around the galaxy all meet, and it is kind of the central hub, although they do have their own political bodies as well. The Human Alliance is relatively new to the scene. They've been involved in council politics now for less than 100 years, I think. So they've kind of been quickly on the rise. They tend to have a little bit of a bad purview from other alien races, not only because in some regards there is still racism that intertwined within humanity, but the inverse of that as well is that there are other alien races out there that feel that the council is kind of throwing humanity way too much favor, and they're advancing far too fast, and kind of jumping over other established races. So it's kind of creating some political friction. And I want to take a quick note to our players who dressed up as Asari. That was an absolute surprise today. I was not aware that was going to happen, and so I'm super stoked. It was very, very cool. And we have our lovely Brittany to thank for that. She made the Asari headdresses. So before we begin, because we have somebody new to the group as well, why don't we just take a moment real quick and kind of introduce ourselves, and kind of, how we got involved in this crazy thing of gaming and Lost Tribes gaming and whatnot, as well as maybe a little bit about yourself, whatever you want to reveal, maybe characters you might be known for from other games, so on and so forth. So, Brittany, why don't you kick us off?
Hi, I'm Brittany. I crochet some for fun. Um,
And that's not all.
I had played D&D a couple of times, like growing up, but like nothing ever lasted long. And then I met Jerome through the Star Wars costume clubs, and he invited me to play vampire, which I had never heard of before, like a year and a half ago. And then I jumped in, and now I'm in like all of the games.
All of the games.
Like all of the games.
I have multiple personalities now. So I'm a costumer. I'm also a writer and an artist. I went to school for illustration and comic books, and by day I'm a designer.
Cool.
Then I do stuff like this in my spare time.
She kind of lives up to the Toreador icon in the background there, which is no surprise. That was her first and favorite vampire character. It's like, I'm kind of going to go Toreador. I'm kind of drawn to him. And so it didn't help that she got some fan service love when she first created a Toreador brooch, I think it was. And Jason Carl retweeted it or something like that and
he
liked
did
it.
Favorite it. Yeah.
So that was super cool.
Yeah.
So Eric, why don't we go off? Start off with you. Give us the
My
411.
name's Eric, married to the lovely Eliza down there, or Missy, whoever. She doesn't really go by Eliza all that much.
How dare you call me by my Christian
I-
name?
Fun fact: when I met her, she
Oh.
said that everybody calls her Missy, but when I came into her house and started calling her Missy, her parents were mad at me because I wasn't using her first name. So that set us up pretty good for those first couple of months.
Whoopsie.
Other than that, I game. I like to draw. I met most everybody here through Star Wars. I have an official Mando. I'm a Mando Merc. Todd I met vicariously through everybody else here, and then into the role playing games that we do. I'm in Cyberpunk. We did Firefly, that crazy Western one where everybody almost died.
Oh my
Or
gosh.
did everybody die?
The zombie one. No. But almost everybody
Yeah.
died, yeah.
I almost died. Yeah.
The
How
zombie
many
western.
Everybody almost dies.
Yeah.
Oh
I
my
jumped. I jumped through a window, just for the hell of it. That was pretty cool.
You did. You
I
sure
remember
did.
you guys leaving my my corpse to be pickpocketed and philandered on the street.
That was good times, man.
It was, wasn't it?
That was a traumatic game.
Well, so then on that note, Missy, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi. I'm Missy. I'm married to the ding dong above me. Love you, babe. I guess I'm a casual cosplayer. I kind of got started with costuming by making my kids Halloween costumes, and I'm like, oh, I can dress up myself. But I met Jerome through Eric through Star Wars. So a couple years ago, much like Brittany, he invited me to join the vampire game. And I think we've been playing that for almost, or at least I've been with them at least almost 2 years at this point.
Yeah, it's been about 2 years now.
Okay, yeah. And I'm in lots of other games as well, but not all of the games like Brittany.
I have no life.
I'm just in most, not all.
I don't have kids to take care of, so
All right, so
Kids,
Holy
kids.
Toad, you're next.
That's me. Holy Toad. If you're on Twitch, it's backwards. It's Dowtilo. So it's
And he can pronounce it.
yeah, I remember the first time I set it up, Brittany's like, that's not what it says. I misspelled my own damn name on the So I'm like, oh, let me fix that. Okay, sorry about that. Because I'm like, it says you pronounce it Dowtilo. She's like, no, that's not how. I'm like, you're telling me how to pronounce my name. She's like, well, it's not spelled that way. And I'm looking at it going, you're absolutely right. So, I played D&D back in middle school, back in the early 80s. I got introduced to Vampire when I was in the Army. Played a lot of Magic the Gathering. I got involved with Star Wars Club, the Rebel Legion, about 5 or 6 years ago, I think. And that's how I met Jerome. And then I met Eric. And then Missy, I think I met you after we started playing. I can't remember. And then I went to a party at Jerome's house one night, and everybody was just sharing stuff. And he's like, "Hey, we get together online if you want to join us some night." And I'm like, "Sure." You know what? I've got kids, but I only have them half the time. So it's like, I'm a bachelor, so I'm like, I'll play as much as I can on the off weeks. So I got involved with Firefly. I was the doctor in Firefly, and I was a part of the vampire group. I've been playing that a little bit over a year, I think now.
Mm-hmm.
I was the only character that died in that original game because I had Bear and Bear we got involved in a situation, and Bear shot somebody, and then the guy blew up the entire floor that we were on, and I got ashed.
it was very in character.
Yeah,
That was also traumatic.
Extraordinarily, yes.
My
you
God.
need to stop talking. Bang! Oh, Bear.
Needless to say, that one scene set the tone for the next season.
Yes. Yeah. I've since been playing a Nosferatu with a twisted background and upbringing, and been having a lot of fun with that. I started up the Were Chronicle about back in August. So we've got Were Crows and Were Bulls and all kinds of cool stuff. Getting ready to fight the worm and all this happening soon, and so that's been a lot of fun since then. And that brings me to today. So.
Okay,
Right on.
so Dale, why don't you let us know a little bit about yourself? Give us the scoop.
Yeah, my name's Dale. I've been gaming since I was a kid. Been through a ton of games: D&D, Shadowrun, Rift.
Shadow, right on, man.
Oh, Rift.
Yeah.
Like Rift?
Just a bunch. Rifts. I did Rifts a bunch when I was with a completely different gaming group, like early teens. A friend of mine had like an actual gaming room in his house, and so we'd all gather there, of course, like every week or two and do whatever. So we went through the gamut there. More recently, I met up with Jerome when he was running his Shadow of the Phoenix spot game. Met him and all of that crew a few years ago through a mutual friend. Played a Toreador Anti in the Sabbat named Bastion, and even kind of went through the rounds of being in the Black Hand. So that was a lot of fun. Got to do lots of stuff. Be a badass there.
Yeah, he was kind of you were the face, I think, weren't you?
Yeah, like
you kind of became like
they're called.
Yeah, you kind of became like the point person. Because everybody else was just like, I kill stuff. You're like, nah. I want to go make people out of flesh.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he was messed up, but effective, and that was the thing. He was like cold and calculating, but he could get into your skin and get things done if he needed to. So it was fun. It's fun to play all these different characters. LARPing is fun. Just pen and paper is great. So yeah, I'm glad to start this up too.
Yeah, I'm glad we were able to get it off the ground. We originally kind of kicked around this idea, I don't know, beginning part of this year, I think, or something. And then like everything happened in the world, and it's like, I'm going to forget about it for a while. And then, thankfully, at some point in time, I discovered these rules, and everything else kind of came together. So, I guess that leaves me. I am Jerome, the erstwhile storyteller of the game. I run most of the games here on Lost Tribes Gaming. Obviously, they've already talked to you about how they know me. I've been gaming since I was 12, so I'm 46 now, so that's over 32 years. Started with D&D, like most folks. One of my big claims to fame back in the day is I was with a friend in the middle of watching a quote-unquote free movie, which turned out to be A Thief in the Night, which if any of you are out there and you know what A Thief in the Night is, and you're Christian, it's probably not the best witnessing tool that you can be using. It's kind of a creepy film to be using for that. And my friend and I were sitting there while we're watching that. We have the Isle of Dread out in front of us. We're sitting there role playing and playing that old school Dungeons and Dragons game. And we had.
So was that one of those films that was all about the like D&D?
No. A Thief in the Night is a series about the Rapture.
Oh, okay.
And it's in fact, if you just go to YouTube, I'm sure you'll find, if not the full the movie, you'll probably find plenty of clips. But it was made like during the 70s, so it's got bad 70s vibe to it. They're.
Left Behind. That was the other big one.
Yeah. That's more modern. Yeah. So we're in the middle of playing that, and of course we've got these people come up to us and they're like, "Oh, what you doing?" We're like, "Oh, playing Dungeons and Dragons." And I could have swore we heard hissing, because it's like they're trying to proselytize to people here with this actually creepy movie, and I mean genuinely creepy. That was the intention of the movie, and here we are playing Dungeons and Dragons, with our old school D20s. And that came from like the basic set and whatnot, so you had to use the crayon to color them in and everything. Yeah. So yeah, went from that to playing damn near everything under the sun. From rifts to LARPing, vampire and Marvel superheroes to you name it. I've played most of the games, or I'm familiar with most others. But anyways, that brings us to tonight. So I've always been a big fan of Mass Effect, as you can tell. The game itself, so we gave a little bit of information on the setting itself as to where we're timeline-wise, where we're at. Yes.
Can I ask real quick? My introduction to Mass Effect was through you folks talking about Mass Effect.
Uh-huh.
So I just wanted to know, am I the only one that has not played the video game, or where's everybody else familiarity with the stories?
No, actually. So I know Eric has played it a bunch. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I know Brittany has played it a bunch. Dale, on the intro when we were just talking, he's played one. He's played the first game. And I think, Missy, you didn't play any of them? Yeah, okay.
She watched me play a little bit.
Yeah, just watch Eric.
Watch me. I got it. And then watch me suddenly get censored and it blocked out because I sound too much like James Brown or something on YouTube. It's like, no, we claim this copyright.
So if there's stuff that you don't understand about the world or the stuff in it, go ahead and speak up. We can.
Yeah. And that was one thing that I was talking about before we started the stream too. The 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons rules, I'm still sort of new at, so obviously there's going to be some learning curve there. But the rules specifically for Mass Effect, as an RPG, 5th edition, everybody's new to. So there's obviously going to be a learning curve there for that. The other thing, like she was saying, if you don't know something or whatnot, or you're not clear, please feel free, raise your hand, let me know, whatever. It's fine. There's even if your character is new, there will be some things that you should probably know as somewhat common knowledge. You know, like what was it? I was just thinking about this the other day. I was trying to think like what would be how you would do. Okay, so like for example, a good way to look at this is like, okay, so most everybody, or I should say not, well, yeah, most everybody has heard of what it is to be Celtic. Now, to define that, you may not know. You may know that, and you go, "Oh, right, Druids," and that's probably the extent of your knowledge. In some cases, like especially with your character being a Quarian, first out on their own, that's fine, and that's probably going to be your correlation to a lot of stuff. It's like, oh, I've heard of that.
I'd be new to everything, so I would be learning as in and out of character.
Right. And one of the other things to keep in mind too, with the Quarians being in the migrant fleet, they recycle and reuse everything. So trading and bartering is king. They don't really have shops that you just roll up to and go, oh, okay, here's a couple credits, I want to drink. You know, it's essentially like living in a colossal apartment complex. You know, with no access to shops. So you're going to go down a couple doors to a neighbor and go, hey, do you got XYZ? Well, yeah, but do you have this? Okay, yeah, here's my toaster or whatever. You know, you make the swap. You know, they repurpose stuff. So that, of course, is off-putting to people who don't have a whole lot of contact with Quarians because they're outside of that kind of cultural bubble. For the most part, at least when they're young. When they're older by that point and they've had that experience after that pilgrimage, not so much. You know, they get that. That doesn't make them stupid or ignorant by that means. It just means they don't have a whole lot of practical knowledge of what it's like to deal with many other races when they're on their pilgrimage. That's one of the reasons why they send you out on that pilgrimage, is to get that knowledge. Because otherwise you've grown up in that self-contained bubble of the migrant fleet.
Right.
So anybody, before we begin, did anybody else have any other questions?
No, it seems pretty straightforward to me.
Okay. All right. I know some of our backgrounds got put together kind of quick or on the fly. I'm not too worried about getting them totally fleshed out. Obviously, part of that will be encompassed in the game. And, of course, we can talk about that offline, too. But some of it, I will just go ahead and kind of put you in a situation or something, just kind of give you a heads up so that way we have an intro for you. Nothing like serious. I'm not going to have you like show up, oh, hey, your pants are down. Well, ha, nothing like that. But just to kind of give you a heads up so that way you're kind of familiar with, well, what's going on and give you, but I did look at everybody's character sheet, so I have an understanding of what it is that, what you're looking for. So, with that being said, we'll go ahead and start off with Brittany. So, Brittany, Doran got the, as I had messaged you before, you have an email waiting for you. And it came a couple hours after you finished up that last job.
A couple hours, wow.
Yeah, it came in pretty quick. Like you had enough time to relax on the ride back with PB. And just go like, whoa, that, I wasn't ready for that level of not knowing, that we could have been a lot more prepared and, just your usual, like, trying to come down. But ideally, it came off without any hitches. You guys got chased out of the spaceport and, you might have to deal with problems later on, but nobody really got hurt. No, the ship wasn't damaged or anything of that nature. And by the time you landed, by the time you guys landed back at the Citadel, PB had enough time to return the ship to her girlfriend, and then you're kind of left at the spaceport, outside a area designated for shuttle cabs, picking up and taking off and whatnot.
How much did we get paid for that job?
She ended up giving you a part of what she got. Basically, it's like you came along at her behest, so she gave you a part of what she made, and so she ended up giving you 5,000.
Okay.
And PB is super apologetic. PB, for those of you who are unaware, is also an Asari. Looks a little bit on the younger side, although she really isn't. Gregarious and kind of outgoing, super inquisitive, and loves thrills. And so she, as she's finishing that up,
She's only in the Andromeda game, right? Or third game.
she is.
I can't
She's in Andromeda.
Okay.
She is a canon character, and she has blue skin. With black face paint that kind of comes across her eyes.
It kind of looks like a bandit.
Kind of like a bandit, yes. Hey, what's going on, Chris? Zadkill Ordo is Chris Renzing. So some of you know him from gaming, some of you know him from Mandos, some of you know him from both. And he actually played with us for a bit when I was running the Star Wars game, which kind of fell apart after a couple of games. And he played in the old Shadow of the Phoenix Sabbat game that was on Lost Tribes Gaming for a bit as Ignacio, the gargoyle. And a purple heart. Yes, hello. So PB, turns to you and she says, I know I'm DV, I know I'm super sorry. This isn't a whole lot of cash. But I have this thing that's like super interesting. I really needed to kind of build up to it. Have you heard of the Andromeda Initiative?
It sounds. I think I've heard the name, but what is it? Why?
Oh, well, they're starting to look for recruits, and my girlfriend and I were kind of thinking about looking into it. It's like it's super specialized, and the Milky Way is kind of boring. I've been around like a whole lot, and the whole purpose of this is like exploration. I thought it might be kind of cool to like discover a new alien race and poke it with a stick.
Wait, like the Andromeda Galaxy?
Yeah, I totally don't know how they found this place. I was hoping they were going to give me more, information, and whatnot. But yeah, no, it's like this entirely new galaxy, and it's like they have this thing called "quote unquote" Golden Worlds, and yeah, so I'm gonna go check that out.
Like, this is a big deal. Like you're gonna be gone for forever.
Oh, I don't know forever. I mean, I don't have all the details yet, but when I find out more, I'll let you know.
This is like years.
Babe, we're sorry.
Well, you better talk.
You're not even a matron yet.
You better talk to me before you pull the trigger on this one.
Oh, totally. I'm not going to ghost you. I wouldn't do that to like slaps your shoulders. Like I totally wouldn't do that.
All right. Well, next job you bring to me, I want a little bit more before we jump in. I mean details. I mean intel.
Okay, I'll do my best.
That was a close call.
Yeah, but you were all like, pew, and like, and I was all blah blah blah, and like, flying over the crates, and it was good. We did fantastic.
I mean, we did turn out pretty cool, but
oh, they should totally make one of those like, what are they, the Turian love casts or whatever those are? No, yeah, the soap operas. They should totally make it into one of those. That'd be more like an action flick, wouldn't it? Oh, no, but you kind of hit it off with that Krogan. It could be a romance film.
Oh, man.
It could totally be romance. Krogan and Asari over ale.
I mean, he was working.
Yeah, he was working it.
You're ridiculous. All right, go figure out your thing.
Okay, love you, babe. Bye. She gives you like a quick like squeeze hug sort of thing, and then bounds off to shuttle cab. And she just and true to PB form, she's just like as soon as she's her throwing up the door and sitting down, you can hear her say, just go anywhere. And just shuts it and drives off.
All right, well, I'm going to go home and unpack and reload and all of that.
Back to your Spartan living?
Yep.
Okay. So have you checked your email yet?
Oh, I guess I can do that while I'm
Mhm.
headed home.
Okay. So as you were heading back to your small little abode near the upper sections of the Citadel, the email, it's kind of sparse for details, but it does mention the job that you just recently completed. And it says if you're interested in something more long-term gainful employment, please be at the Dark Star Lounge at such and such time. And it's actually later this evening.
Do I recognize who it's from?
No, you do not. But this is
Mm.
not uncommon. A lot of people who are trying to keep like CSEC off of them, or other security systems, they'll send it from like an anonymous source.
Well, I'm a little troubled by how quickly word got around about this job that I just did.
And then a spam email comes in about adopting Pyjax. This is like the third time you've thrown it in your spam filter.
Okay. All right. Well, I make a note of the time and place, and figure I may as well go see who turns up,
Okay.
since I don't have any other work lined up right now.
Okay. If you give me just 1 second, I have to pause real fast. So, guys, go ahead and feel free to converse. I'll be right back.
So this TV character sounds fun.
She's pretty interesting. I mean, I haven't. So I've played the first three, the Shepherd trilogy. I haven't finished Andromeda, even though it came out like several years ago. But yeah, she's
She's the personification of ADHD.
yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
And I just realized looking at my character sheet, I never picked my spells. So like, is that something I should?
Oh,
I
man.
mean, hopefully we won't need them today.
I just
Yeah.
picked mine last night, man. But the level 0 ones, there's like, I think there's like 5 or 6 you get to pick from. It's real bottom of the barrel stuff.
Crud, I think
I
that's mine
don't
too.
have cantrips, I don't think.
Yeah, all that I think depends on your class. Each one deals with that a little differently. So like
Yeah,
it
each
looks-
one gets like a separate pool to draw from, but yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
My class doesn't have cantrips on it, so no worries. Welcome back.
Yeah. Nope, sorry about that. Okay, so any rate. All right. So, Dale.
Yeah.
You are greeted by the opening of a door. The cell is being opened for you. CSEC has reluctantly released you for lack of evidence, giving you a stern warning that they've got their eyes on you. Some Turian with a rather protruding finger, giving you the poke of authority, and giving you that scowl that generally only they can give.
I give him a grin.
Yeah, just a happy-go-lucky grin. And he says, "Mr. Bryan, there won't be another circumstance like this yet again. We catch you in this sector doing anything out of the ordinary. I don't care if you raise your eyebrow inappropriately. We're going to throw you in one of these cells, and you're not going to see the light of day."
Sir, I believe you 100%. Am I free to go?
Yeah, get out of here.
It's been fun. I turn and head out.
Colony trash. So you're stepping out of the C-sec. It's one of those subsector, kind of like what you would see in a mall. So that it's not a fully functioning center. It has maybe a couple holding bays, and it has maybe a handful of officers that come in there in and out. It's generally designed just for that ward. That one section of the ward. So there's only maybe like 5 officers here at any given time. And you step right out from there, out onto the dimly lit boardwalk, with the only illumination of the various neon signs that permeate these sectors, drawing you from any hedonistic desires to, restaurants, to advertisements to the latest show coming on. I mean, it's just sensory overload, much like you would see in Vegas.
Gotcha.
There's very little in the way of damage or signs of damage from the attack that happened several months ago. Most of this particular area has been cleaned up, but cleaned up doesn't necessarily mean fully repaired. So there are some shops that are still closed, even though there's no like debris laying about. They're closed because they're not. It's not in a position to function. Like maybe there's still a hole in the ceiling, or like the counter was completely crushed. There's something about it. So interspersed with a couple of locations that are still pending. Keepers to come around and fix the place, or barring that, actual civil authorities from the Citadel coming to fix it. The boardwalk itself is rife with life of various alien races. You can see one of the not the Elcor, not the Volus, it's the jellyfish. What the hell are they called again? The Hanar, thank you. And you can see one of the Hanar out there trying to hand pamphlets out to people that are coming by, trying to proselytize about the Enkindlers. Not having any luck whatsoever, not even with the destitute and homeless. It's a jellyfish. Why do they want to follow a jellyfish god? It doesn't make no sense.
Shake my head at them. And looking around the area, I see if I can go find my my background contact. What did I call him? His name was is that Volus Vanner Witt. He was the guy who was giving me jobs before.
Gotcha. Okay, sure. Let's see. Where'd you put his name? Is it on the character sheet?
I don't have his name on it yet, but with the background, he's a part of as the criminal background. You get to know one contact, so I just figured that
sure
he'd be.
Yeah, absolutely. What did you name him?
Vanner Witt. So Vaner, last name Wit. He's a Volus.
Okay. So within a few moments, you hop into a shuttle, head to the other side of the wards. His particular base of operations is out of a sleazy area of the wards close to Coral's Den, which has now been closed down. So he's thinking about trying to move on, but just hasn't had the opportunity to do so. But you get dropped off in that particular sector, make your way through this part of the wards, which this area is actually still kind of hard hit. Coral's Den is actually completely closed down. It's actually got a marker on it saying condemned, and there's ads that are posted along the side redirecting people to a new club that's actually opened here recently called the Dark Star Lounge.
Right. Well,
but you head down some of these skinny corridors and get to his. It looks initially like a utility closet until you get inside, and it opens up to something a little bit bigger. The door is kind of nondescript, not secret, but kind of nondescript. You wouldn't notice it if you weren't really looking for it. but you pop in, and he happens to be currently tinkering with something, on his desk. There's a human guard standing off to the side. Doesn't seem to be too bright. Probably one of the newer enforcer types that he recently hired. He had to hire a bunch more because of the attack. Casualties being what they are, or people who just run away or get captured. But he is not well dressed. His armor's a little beat up, and he's currently picking his nose. But your contact is kind of working a thing, just ignoring him for the time being.
Yeah. All right, so I pipe up. Yeah, you always were the type to get the classiest help around, weren't you, Vanner?
Don't knock it, Kel.
Oh man.
Well, I don't
That's
blame
perfect,
you.
dude.
Glad you're able to survive.
What do you mean? I'm small enough. Let me guess.
True.
Just get out of C-Sec and looking for a job.
You're my own personal clairvoyant, Vanner. What can I say? Got anything for me?
I am a biotic god. Yeah, as it just so happens, I got something. Kind of on the gray side. You interested?
Well, if I can avoid another stint in the pen, that'd be handy. What is it?
No name guy, kind of black market contact. Looking for hired guns, among other things. Thought you might be interested. Setting up a meet at the Dark Star Lounge.
Not that far. Have any idea this unnamed guy? You know anything about him beyond a lack of name?
Traveling through usual channels. Seen it before.
All right. When do you think he'll be over at Darkstar?
Message says in a couple hours. Should also note, old channel's a little bit older.
Yeah, used to rely on those old channels? I don't know. How trustworthy would this meat be?
I'd come strapped.
Well, I always do. Well, appreciate it, Vanner. Guess I'll go make a new friend at the Darkstar.
And don't forget, my 10% should you get anything.
You know me, I literally can't forget, Vanner. Take it easy.
Yeah, good luck out there. Stop picking your nose. You hear something get lobbed over at the guy in wood. The clanking sound, as like something, hits his armor, and then the ground. He's like, I wasn't doing nothing. That's the point.
As I pass by the guard, I say, stay classy, mucus, and I keep going.
Hey, all right. Thanks, man.
And I head over to the Darkstar Lounge.
All
looking
right.
For a nondescript guy, I guess.
Well, you were given you would have passed on the actual email. It's still again kind of sparse, but it does give you a logo to look for.
Got it. Okay.
So somebody with this logo is somebody you can contact for this.
Excellent.
And you're kind of used to this. Usually when you get something this nondescript, it's either a setup, which doesn't happen as often as you might think, or B, it's somebody trying not to be identified. And they're usually like, well, I'm not saying this is this type of individual, but people who work on like the shadow broker type of level who keep their hands off of stuff usually send contract work like this out in this fashion. Very kind of shady sounding, but tends to pan out a little bit more when you meet up with them.
Got it.
And aside from CSEC being, you know, overt and trying to track you down, it just doesn't sound like their bag.
Cool.
You haven't really attracted the attention of a Spectre for any reason, so you don't have like that kind of worry.
Got it. Yeah. Whew.
Okay, so over to Cassius. So at this point, you are down in some podunk little cantina that's right off of the main docks. It's picked up traction here recently with refugees from the Skillian Rim, or Skillian Verse, sorry. They're basically they're coming in because they've been attacked by pirates or whatnot, so they're trying to avoid issues there. So a lot of them are in, although it's not like, it's a good way to put this. Think of an airport where people have to wait before getting while they're boarding, kind of like a quarantine in essence, but they're not. It's not like for biological purposes. They're having to wait here for processing.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So there's about 20 or 30 people down here. It's not massive. It's not like, a war or anything, but it's a little bit higher than normal because of the pirate traffic, which you would already know about, because the Alliance has been moving in, and in doing so, it's been clashing with people who just want to remain independent, or races that want to remain independent, but primarily with the Batarian hegemony, who sees a lot of that territory as theirs anyways. So they've been kind of butting heads, and there's been humans and other races kind of getting caught in the crossfire.
Gotcha.
But you happen to be down there, and a message comes in from Grog.
Cool.
And it's just a text message. And it says, "Found something you might like." And then it backs up real quick and then retypes. He has a hard time with those PDA pads because of his big fingers.
Big ass ham hands.
Yeah, it's hard for Krogans to kind of use those things if there's not like a big press here button. But it's all like ta 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 ta, and he says, got a lead from a guy who knows a guy, and it might be something up your alley. Don't know. It's vague, and I got it through blood pack channels. So take it for what it's worth.
Oh, absolutely, man. Send me those deets.
Okay. So it's the same kind of vague email that I just described. It has a time and a place, and it has a logo to look for.
Okay. Where's do I know how far about that this place is from where I'm at?
It's a couple wards over. Dark Star Lounge, and the reason why is Dark Star Lounge has been making the rounds, advertising and whatnot, because they just recently opened, so they've been trying to draw in business. So a lot of because it sits closer to the upper wards, or the I should say the upper rings in the Citadel. It tends to draw a smattering of both types of crowds. It's kind of like a gentrified area, I should say, of one of the wards. So that way it's like people who are upper crust, lower ward could probably afford to be here and hang out. But people who want to feel like they're slumming it, and they're, maybe the Presidium type or the upper crust, they could probably get away with being here too and not be in complete danger.
Gotcha. I'm going to text Grog back and say, hey, thanks for the heads up. I will let you know what I find out. In the meantime, I'm going to take a look at the picture or the logo.
Okay.
I'm assuming it's foreign to me.
Yeah, actually it is. It's kind of basic. It looks like 3 stars that are kind of shooting. It has kind of it's a real simple base. I mean, it looks like a poor man's corporate graphic.
Okay. I'm going to try and commit it to memory. That way I don't have to keep checking my data pad.
Yeah, it's simple enough. Yeah, I mean, it's 3 stars with kind of 3 small little streaks coming off of it, was all.
Gotcha. All right, I'll hail myself a cab and get on over there.
Okay. All righty. And so, hold on one second. There we are. And so your character's name is Praza, right, Todd? First name?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so Praza, you have been on the Citadel now for 3 days. You are 3 days into your, well, you're a week into your pilgrimage at this point, but you've been here 3 days. What you know about the Citadel is it's essentially the capital city of the council. It is a large space station that has like a center ring and 5 arms that essentially come off of it. Because you're Quarian, you found that people love giving you misdirection. So you've been to the bad parts of town many times already, and you're quickly discovering that there are plenty of bad parts of town.
Okay.
Nobody has given you, real good directions on where it would probably be safer to be. So you've had to, and it's not that you don't have any credits, because you do have some, but it's primarily because it's been difficult for you to find lodging, just because of all the misdirection that you've been given. When you finally discovered a virtual intelligence called Avena, set up at one terminal, and finally got some actual directions. It's basically just, it looks like a semi-translucent Asari that you can talk to, kind of like Siri.
Okay.
And if you go to one of those stations, around the Citadel, you can get basic information of like, okay, go here, go there. I can find this there, what's common about this location, so on and so forth. So it's kind of like a stationary, what's the word I'm looking for? A stationary map and, map, atlas, same thing. But yeah, stationary information booth.
So I'm happy. I've made a friend. I've got an AI
It's a VI. AIs, are highly illegal. They're just about everybody hates them because of the Quarians.
Yeah, I made a friend.
But once you found that particular booth, you're able to find a very cheap hostel on the Citadel, just off of one of the docks. And in the hostel are, again, you've heard of many of these races and you've seen pictures of them, but you haven't had a whole lot of experience with them. So there's, several humans in the hostel. There's, maybe 1 or 2 Turians. There's a Vorcha here. Turians, and you might want to Google it just for picture sake, so you have visuals. Turians tend to look a little bit more chitness and aviary, kind of space alien or space birdish. Pretty badass. Vorcha are really nasty humanoid. Most everything's humanoid, but I don't know, would be a good reptilian, I guess, would be a good way to kind of put them. Very, very crass, very blunt, always looking for a fight sort of thing. And there's also an Elcor down here. Now, Elcors they look kind of like a monkey in a sense. They travel on all fours. They're very big. Their speech patterns are very deliberate. They're very monotone, and they usually speak in the third person. almost exclusively as a way to try to explain themselves.
Okay.
That's been kind of interesting because to get used to, because whenever they speak to you, like you would try to say, okay, well, how much is it going to be for, like, this room or whatever, get direction. They would always explain what it is, what they were feeling, and then explain, the comment to you. So it would be like disgruntled reply, and give you, like, the commentary with it. So it's been interesting and off-putting at the same time because it's so alien. Okay. But you have a basically you have a small little room. There's no bathroom attached to it. There's a communal restroom that everybody has to use, and yours is the only door that doesn't lock.
Okay. So have I paid for the room already?
Yes. Yeah, there's not a problem there. You've actually got that paid up for the next couple of days at this point because you weren't sure, like, what you were going to be doing.
So I'd like to go and I guess complain about the room.
Okay. So there's a guy sitting on the couch. He's kind of the de facto landlord of the hostel. He's a human. Got stubble all over his face. Should probably shave. Generally doesn't.
I'm like, excuse me, sir?
Oh, right. Yeah, can you give me a minute? I'm watching a Turian drama.
Oh, sure. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, no, thanks. Sit down, educate yourself.
Well, my door doesn't lock. Is there something that can be done about that?
Don't you have a suit?
I do, but I'm renting a room. I'd like to bring things to my room and not have people walk in.
But I thought you can't take your suit off. Why would you need to bring someone in your room if you can't take your suit off?
No, not someone, something. I'd like to bring items into my room. I'd like to have the privacy of not anybody walking in my room.
But don't you live all on ships? Isn't that a thing?
It's been told to me that's not a thing here. I mean, if that's customary, I'll go to the other rooms and go into the rooms to start bartering if that's standard here.
You should absolutely do that.
All right, so I'll make sure that wherever I'm going to, that I was told that I'm supposed to do that by the person that works here.
Yeah, just when you do, raise your voice when you first open the door, so that way they know you're going to be there.
No. I remember not to do that. That's something I've learned not to do.
Are you sure?
I have some skill at repairing things. It's all right. I could try to fix that door.
Well, if you break it, you buy it.
It's already broken.
You sure?
Oh yeah, I'm positive. I can't lock my door.
So he hits stop, on the TV, and he gets up, scratches himself, goes walking over to your door, basically down the hall from the little communal living area. Opens your door, shuts it, jerks on a couple times, doesn't open, opens it back up again. What? Are you normally this rude?
Am I what?
Are you normally this rude? I mean, is this what they teach you on that migrant fleet thing? Like,
so my door does not lock.
Bug the landlord when they're watching TV for things that aren't wrong.
So my door doesn't lock the proper way. You're just able to shut it right now, but my door is not locking the proper way.
Maybe it just doesn't like you.
The door doesn't like me. I mean, do I need to report this facility for having AI on a door?
AI? Hey, well, that's from you. That's a 4-letter word and 2 letters. You don't want to go talking about that being a Quarian.
You just said my door doesn't like me. I think that you've done something to my door that because of Macorian, you're setting me up for failure at this point. So,
well, you know what? I'll tell you what. Why don't you go report me to CSEC and let me know what they say.
I just have to tell CSEC what you've told me at this point, that I have some sort of artificial intelligence that makes my door not like me. I mean, if that's what I need to report, I'm just saying that's what you've told me. I'm just reporting what you've told me. So
he says, yeah. Hits a button, starts watching his Turian drama again.
Sure.
Okay. I'm gonna wander around. Is there some kind of power room here, like a generator room or anything like that?
No, the power of these things are all set up, in central processing hubs throughout the Citadel.
I mean, I'm looking for how does this building get power? Like where is the access point?
It's essentially. I mean, you're a part of you're part of a space station. So I mean, yeah, there are generators, but this is like hooked up to another grid, so on and so forth. Now you could totally, if you decide to go open up a service panel, go crawling through, service vents or whatnot, if you want to look for like power conduit and whatnot that ties this section of buildings into the grid.
How easily can I do that without somebody seeing me doing that?
That's a great question. How sneaky are you?
Uh-oh.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be emphasis on stealth.
First roll, man.
Don't bear it.
Don't Britney it.
Don't bear it. I don't have stealth as a proficiency, but I do have I have dexterity with a.
Yeah, so you would have a +2 to whatever you rolled. So you're not really stealthy, but you're kind of naturally nimble. So that helps a little.
So I'm looking around. I just want to see. I'd like his attention, and my thought process is just turning the power off to that TV back there. And so, I'm just thinking about calling in this conduit, going back and just turning the power off of this sector.
Okay. Well, give me since you're going to be poking around at this point, why don't you give me a perception check?
Perception. Well, I don't have any specialty in there, so. Yeah, well, I'm rolling a d20, right?
Yeah, rolling a d20.
Yeah, I got a 6.
Okay. So finding service covers, in this sense, this wouldn't be like if you walk down the street, you're going to find a manhole cover, right? That's I mean, you know where a street is, so eventually you're going to stumble onto a manhole cover. Same principle here. So you walk outside the building, or the hostel that you're staying at, and just walking down maybe 30 feet, alongside the wall, you see the opening for the service entry.
I mean, so I have I'm proficient in electronics, engineering, and science. So, so what if I think that's the panel, I'm going to open that panel up.
Okay. Well, it's a service duct, so it's something you would crawl into.
I crawl in.
Okay. So now you're sounding like Bruce Willis crawling through the air ventilation system in Die Hard. Thump, 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 thump. As you go. You crawl back a little ways, and you start seeing where the power conduit and other bits and parts of machinery that interconnect the services in this area back down this particular service port.
Anything labeled? I just want to mess with this building. I don't want to mess with the whole. I don't want to unplug this district.
Give another perception check as you look around.
Perception still 0. 13.
13. Okay. So you're not sure which is which, because in this particular area, and you're kind of familiar with this in this sense, there's commercial grade, like conduit and circuit boards and whatnot. So everything is neatly labeled and clean and precise and whatnot. And then there's your version of redoing everything. So at best, there's some color coding in here. So there's nothing clearly labeled for like this block or that block, but there's color coding. So if you got the right color code, you could probably find it. It's just a matter of determining which is which.
And I don't want to do process elimination well, how easy is to plug and unplug these switches? Are they soldered in, or is it an easy switch?
No. For you could absolutely pull them in or out. Yeah.
I'm gonna start messing around.
Okay. So let's go ahead and give an electronics roll. That is definitely something you are skilled in.
Yeah. 22.
22. Okay. So you take your time at this point, kind of going over the color coordination. It's not completely clear as to which is which, at least initially. And then as you start kind of investigating, you're trying not to do the, plug and play, and screwing with other people. But you eventually, as you look, you basically compare where you were at the plugins and the rest of it. You determine, okay, well, I think I've found what's going to the hostel. And in doing so, you find three color coded. They're kind of a teal in color. Bands that extend from the wall where you're at that go towards the hostel.
Okay. I want to pull the power on the hostel.
Okay. Go ahead and roll again.
What am I doing? Electronics or what?
Yeah, electronics again.
18.
18. Okay. So you kind of have to eeny, meeny, miny, moe it a little bit. Because again, they're color coded, and you've determined you found the right ones. You're just not too sure which one does which. So you pull it, and you hear a noticeable like power down.
Yeah, but is that the power where I want it to be, or is it somewhere else?
Well, the problem is you're in this maintenance shaft at this point.
Well, I want to quickly get out of here. I want to unplug. Power is out and haul out.
Okay. And so now you're just trying to quickly get out and haul ass away, or what?
I want to haul ass, and then I want to casually go back in the front door to see if the power's been out. And if I see him bitching around about the power, I can be like, "Hey, I'm pretty good with power. I can go see if I can find out what's wrong with it."
Okay. So go ahead and give me a stealth check.
Stealth plus 2, 11.
11. Okay. So you slide yourself out, and in doing so, you basically pull. You have to grab a hold of the top and essentially use your arms to fling yourself out, pull yourself out, so you touch down on the ground below you.
Okay.
And when you do, you end up kicking somebody.
Oh shit!
Now, not super hard, not like full on donkey kick or something like that, but like enough that you clearly bumped into him in kind of an inappropriate fashion.
I've been noticed.
Yeah, so and you hear this, stupid Quarians, and it's this very, very irritated looking, very toothy Vorcha.
I totally ignore him.
The one thing you know about Vorcha is they eat anything.
Yeah, I'm hauling ass away. I'm ignoring him because I want to be as fast away from him as I possibly can.
Oh, you're just gonna, because you're not that far away from the door to the hostel, so you're just gonna bolt and just run for it.
So I want to run like clockwise around the hospital, come back in the other way. I don't want to go directly in. I want to be able to like run around. So like, I'm coming in from the opposite direction.
Sure. Okay. So then you bolt and just start running to the crowd, and you hear him screaming like, something at you. You're not too sure what exactly it is. Let's see. Give me, Missy. Why don't you give me a perception check?
Let's see if you can see me run by.
One moment.
Sure.
Six.
All right.
Yay!
So
I'm
Missy.
not very perceptive today.
No, not very perceptive. So Missy, your character. Whoops. What was your character's name again? Tella. Okay. So Tella, your life choices have led you to having to hole up in some of the seedier parts of town, unfortunately. In some cases, it's actually led to work. And in other cases, it's helped keep you hidden. That is, of course, the direct opposite of your sister and your mother, who have taken to money to some extent and have nicer places to speak of, or at least last you checked. But as you are rounding the corner at this point, you literally just left this, what passes for a sushi place down here. It was questionable, but it was new, and you figured, well, you've still, if nothing else, you still have possibly 600 years of your life. You could probably sacrifice one.
Hey, I'm all about patronizing the small businesses, the mom and pops.
Yep. And it was basically sushi on a cart sort of thing. Like they roll this cart around and grill it up like right there. Well, not grill it up, but serve it up. And as you just got done. It's not completely agreeing with you. It wasn't the great, best choice. And out of nowhere, and knife handing it, right? Like we're talking full sprint, Ethiopian in the midst of the Olympics, sort of like long sprint. This Quarian bolting around the corner, which you have enough time to go, a Quarian? Because it's like that's pretty out of the ordinary before he just runs you straight over to bam. Now his body mass isn't as such that he can just keep stomping on you like a mad Krogan. So you both kind of hit and tumble and sprawl out. You end up knocking over a Turian. You end up rolling, you end up rolling over a Volus who happens to be down here, and end up like resting at the feet of this sushi stand. With the chef just kind of, with the chef just kind of like, the hell? Watch where you're going.
I'm gonna try and get up and like dust myself off, but like, I'm so sorry. This is not about your food. I'm gonna look at the person who like kind of bowled me over and, what the fuck? What's wrong with you? Why are you in such a rush? Trying to kill somebody?
I bumped into a guy. He's got teeth, and man, sorry. It's just I need to back there. I'm going this way. So sorry. Didn't mean to run into you. So sorry.
Are you in danger?
He's got teeth. He wasn't happy that I bumped into him.
I mean, lots of things got teeth. Was he gonna eat you?
From what I know of that race, they eat everything. That's all I remember about it.
That's enough of a description to say that's a Vorcha. That's probably bad news.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm. Is it still after you? I'm gonna look that way. Can I see anything coming?
You see a crowd of people kind of looking around now at this point, like just looking back and forth because one, it's not common to see a Quarian really ever, but two, because he bolted past and ran you down, and then you end up seeing this semi-armored Vorcha come angrily running around the corner.
Do I see him too?
Oh yeah.
There he is, and I go back. Go back to running.
Stupid Quarian!
If it's after him, I'm gonna go ahead and run after him.
Run after. Follow the Quarian?
Yeah, I'm gonna follow the Quarian.
Okay. Okay.
At least until I get out of sight enough where I can do anything.
Okay, so you guys are making your way through. You guys are making your way through a very crowded concourse at this point of people, and kind of bolting.
Why are you following me?
Just like
Because you need help.
I just need away from him. What?
I just ate. Why do we have to keep running? I don't feel so good.
So you two give me more perception checks.
11.
An
Nice.
8.
Nice. Okay, so you two at this point, instinctively, you're trying to get off the concourse at this point, Todd. You're just like, because there's just too many people, and you're not able to run fast enough. And any attack from this Vorcha would probably put a hole in your suit, and that's going to kill a good part of your week as you recover from infection. Even if you get away from it. So it's like, screw that noise. So you for some reason you've picked up an Asari. Confusing, but it happens, I guess. And as you two kind of turn, because she's following you, and you just instinctively turn to get off of the concourse, and you run down what you think is a dark hallway. She just is bolting right after you. She's not really focused on where you're going, just that you're going. And within an instant, you end up you fall forward into the darkness, and then you hesitate a second, Missy, before you do so as well, because you just had way too much momentum. Mm-hmm. And you, Todd, you end up falling probably 10 feet or something, enough to give an impact and to take the breath out of you a bit. And then next thing you know, the Asari, who could probably stand to lose a little bit of weight, ends up thumping on top of you. I mean, you're Quarian. You're used to everybody, being thinner anyways. So it's like, oh crap! And then you start going up. Like you guys landed on something, and you're being taken up into the air.
Like on a lift, or we're floating?
Well, it's in dark. So you're on something like maybe a lift or something, but looking down, even though it's pretty dark, you think you see something glowing underneath. Maybe it's like a plexiglass kind of shell or something. A canopy of some kind.
The Omni tool is illuminates, right?
It does. Even if you turn it on, it's going to give you a little bit of ambient light. You don't do anything with it. You're just like boink.
That's all I'm doing. I mean, I just I want to use like a flashlight at this point. So
Sure.
Sorry. Back up. I just want some light. So I get off of her and I ignite my blade.
Okay, so you get up, and as you start to get up, you lose footing with one of your feet. Like it slips right off. So that tells you you're on an edge of something.
Okay, so I get back towards the center again,
and you illuminate it again. It's not a whole lot of light, but it's enough to give you an ambience. You're on top of a cab.
Oh God!
And as soon as you make that realization, because Tella does that as well. Like, she goes to like gain her footing again, and her foot slips as well. So you get that unsteady feeling of knowing that there's not a whole lot of terra firma underneath you. And then you get out, and you see the rolling fake sky of the Citadel. Like, the darkness was basically, you guys were really close to one of the buildings, and you landed on top of a cab at this point. And this shuttle cab is actually taking off, and you can see the guy who's driving, like, looking up at you, and then, like, because you can't hear, and he's talking to the passenger that's behind him, and they're both kind of freaking out, like, why they have passengers on top.
So we fell down 10 feet, and he's gone back up. Are we now back at ground level that I can jump off and get back on the ground?
No, you guys, it was a constant movement thing. So by the time you get out of that shadow, you guys are like up in the air on top of this cab.
So we're like in like Star Wars when Anakin's like jumping, car to car.
Kind of, yeah.
Great.
And he's entering traffic at this point.
What the hell? I look at this, I'm like, I have no idea what to do.
Why did we go this way? Why did you run that way?
I was trying to get away from the guy with the teeth, and I was just trying to be safe at this point. By the way, thanks for following.
I was just trying to help you.
But how do we get off of this? I banged the side of the window. Let me off!
And the guy shakes his fist, but again, it's completely sound. So he's saying something, but you can't really, make it out.
I shake my fist back, and I'm pointing back at the land, I'm like, oh, that way.
I'm gonna also kind of like pound on the bonnet, and then I'm gonna take out my predator, and I'm gonna point to the land with my gun, like, down.
Okay, with that, like, everybody in the cab freaks out. They think at this point you're about to shoot them, so he rolls the stick.
Oh God!
And sends you both into the air.
Oh dear!
Out of the frying pan. In the air.
Yep.
Yeah,
so
that was a good game one.
Give me athletics checks.
I'll make my new character up. So
Go ahead.
We're flying through the air at this point?
Yeah, well, you're more like ungracefully falling.
Right, yeah, okay. Yeah.
So go ahead and give me an athletics check.
Yeah, an athletics check, sure. I got a 4, for God's sake.
Okay. Question.
Answer.
So this is one that I do have athletics in. So when I roll this, do I add 12? Or what do I add?
No. So for your character, I don't have your character sheet pulled up. So
you have a 12, you have a +1.
Yes. So, but if you have a proficiency in it, it's automatically a +2 as well. So you have whatever you have for your strength bonus, as well as the +2 proficiency.
My strength bonus. Okay. So just to be clear, I'd be since I have 12 in my strength, I'd be starting with a 14.
No, there's a.
Wait, sorry.
So what do you have for strength?
I have 12 in strength.
Okay, so that's going to give you a +1 to whatever you roll.
Okay.
And then if you have a proficiency in it, you're going to add an additional 2.
Okay, so +3.
Yes.
There you go.
Okay. Clear now. Thank you. I have 20.
Oh,
wow.
Nice.
Not a natural 20, but it's a 20.
That's still really good. Okay. So this is not your first go around with being flung from a vehicle. It's not a conversational piece that gets brought up often. And it's definitely something you probably would never admit to anybody outside of close friends and family, but you've done it before. So when that happens, your first instinct was to kind of go at it like a skydiver and get yourself at least a falling orientation as the Quarian goes right past you in like this flailing mass of, praying. Well, they don't really have, deity figures, but essentially praying to God and trying to grasp at things that aren't there. As you have an orientation to you, you can control your descent if you want to essentially try to point break it and catch him.
And catch the Quarian? Yeah, absolutely. I have to help him if he's falling.
Oh yeah, he is way out of his element.
Oh, okay, yeah, I'm gonna, as soon as like I kind of have any kind of like orientation, I'm gonna go ahead and look for him and try and rescue him.
All right, cue the rat music from Point Break. Nobody rides for free. Go ahead and give me another athletics check.
I need to remember not to close my dice roller.
Jerome, I put myself at, I'm not sure if this is appropriate or not, at 175 for weight because I'm 5'10", I'm skinny, but I have my suit.
Okay.
Does that sound right?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
I have 17 total.
17. All right. So at this point, you kind of fold your arms back and start, descending quickly to try and catch up to the Quarian. So at this point, Todd, as you are flailing around, at this point, your only hope is that you don't hit something driving by. Because
I'm a drone jockey. Can I summon a defense drone? Because the defense drone has a high strength that and it has a lot of hit points that maybe I could have it and I can control it, so I could have the defense drone come near me and I can grab it.
The drones don't work quite like that. You have to be stationary for that sort of thing, or on the ground, because they don't like fly way up into the air like that. They're kind of low flying platform devices in a way, and semi holographic in nature.
All right.
But there is an impact as the Asari that had been following you, this person, body tackles you in midair,
okay,
and grabs a hold of you.
What are you doing?
Nope.
Muted, sorry.
Yeah.
Just follow my lead.
Okay. Is this a quicker way to die? I just like.
Shut up! Just follow my lead.
All right. I fold my arms back and I let her hold on to me. I'm like, what are we doing?
All right. So at this point, Missy, you have. Hold on one second. Look this up. This is a prime example of how to earn inspiration points. There we are. So if you would like, as you have gained a point of Paragon, an inspiration point for throwing yourself at the Quarian in mid-death roll at this point, would you like to make another... if you would like to spend that point, you can now make a athletics roll with advantage. Meaning, how this works is if you have advantage, you can roll your d20 twice and take the better of the two rolls.
Heck yeah, I'm gonna take the advantage.
Okay, so you're gonna burn your inspiration point, your Paragon inspiration point for saving the Quarian. Go ahead and give that a roll.
Okay. And I still get my added bonus to the athletics roll, my +3, yeah?
You sure do.
Okay, cool. I figured I did. I just want to be sure.
Mhm.
Okay, first 20 roll is a 19.
Oh, nice. Roll it again just in case you get a critical.
Second one is a 4.
Okay, well, I guess you're taking the 19.
I mean, maybe.
All right. So at this point, Todd, you're pretty scared, but she kind of seems to know what she's doing in a weird sort of way. Like, you're no longer kind of descending out of control. Like, you can feel her moving and holding onto you while you do, and you're actually sliding in the air to either side. And when she ends up basically aiming for what appear to be trees, which help break your fall, which of course immediately shatter your guys' shields, which we'll explain that in a bit. So shields down as you guys break through that and end up hitting. You broke your fall enough that you end up breaking through the tree branches, hitting the top of an open air store. Both of you bounce off the roof and then end up like hitting the ground and sprawling out right in front of this walkway into a restaurant that you can hear like some thumping music going on. Both of your bodies are lit with pain, and, as you hit the ground, but you didn't die.
Do we take damage or?
Any damage you took was superficial bashing. At this point, you're going to have enough time to rest to regain it, and your shields took the initial impact.
All right, so I say just that. I stand up and I'm like, we didn't die.
I'm like out of breath, and I'm like, you're welcome.
No, I'm sorry. Here, let me help you up. I am thank you so much. So I'm Prazaran Narnima. It's nice to meet you.
I'm just like kind of just still kind of I'm kind of hunched over. I've got my hands on my thighs. I'm like, and I'm Tila.
Are you okay? Do you need healing? Or
No. I'm quite all right. Just you never get used to this sort of thing. It just kind of takes you by surprise.
So
this sort of thing,
So
no, there's no getting used to this sort of thing.
So Doran,
no, exactly.
You are approaching the Dark Star Lounge, and there's a small crowd out front, which kind of bodes well apparently because maybe it's a really popular place, but they're kind of huddled around like they're looking at something as opposed to like standing in line. And when you get up closer, you see Tila talking to a Quarian, and they're both on the ground and they look like they went through a tree. Like you can see like some leaves and twigs and stuff like on their person still for some reason.
I'm gonna approach one of the onlookers, just whoever's close, and say,
"It's a Turian.
What just happened here?"
He turns and looks at you and he says, "Would you believe a flying Quarian?"
No.
Then this is a poor reenactment of an earth bush.
I'm not sure where you're going with that, but how strange.
We're all trying to figure that out as well. And they kind of like looking around, for a second. Then he's, with he's with another Asari, and they're just like, "I'll just leave these up to the others," and they start walking in.
Do we notice if anybody's watching us or?
Yeah, you guys gathered a kind of a small crowd. They didn't like huddle like immediately around you, like they weren't that concerned.
Yeah, I have nothing in performance, but I turn around to the crowd and I'm like, "Ta-da!"
I'm gonna take a look around and see if I see CSEC coming around, as though if somebody called the authorities.
You do see a CSEC officer kind of doing that like craning kind of look, but they're not going over. Apparently they just don't care enough.
Also, do I recognize my sister?
Yeah, despite her leafy exterior, yes you do.
I'm gonna hang back and watch. I'm sure she probably doesn't want to talk to me, and so I'm gonna wait and see what happens.
Okay. So while you are watching and they're kind of like trying to regain their thoughts or whatnot. All right, so Cassius, you have made it inside the Dark Star Lounge at this point. There's some sort of commotion going on outside, but it's kind of hard to tell. The music is thumping. There's Asari on poles. That's a little bit more of a priority.
Sorry, on poles. I need to leave.
I think you're muted, Eric.
Jerome, I need to leave for 5 minutes. I need to go talk
How's that?
to my daughter.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. In between checking out the pollsters, I'm gonna see if I can make out this monogram or logo.
Okay, sure. Give me a perception check.
So since I don't have that as a proficiency, it's just whatever on a d20.
Whatever you have for a wisdom bonus and your d20 roll.
Well, I've got 10 for wisdom. I don't know what my bonus
So,
is.
yeah, you don't have anything. It's just a d20 roll.
Okay. All right. It's 18.
Oh, damn. Okay. So you've kept your head on a swivel quite a bit in between the gyrations of the lounge acts and whatnot. When you end up seeing a lady sitting beside herself in a booth, she's in I wouldn't really call it a uniform, but it is a little a mix of a hard soft armor. Think kind of Mandalorian in a sense. So like jumpsuit, but with some plating armor kind of look. And on one of the shoulders, you see that logo.
Okay.
She is human, and she is probably mid-40s with long brown hair.
Okay. Now that I know where she's at, I'm gonna observe her for a while and see if anybody else is approaching her.
Okay, sure. All right, Kel. You have made your way to the Dark Star Lounge at this point. You managed to avoid the commotion on the outside. And you two have partaken in the glorious onslaught, that which is Asari dancers going along the poles and whatnot in their skin-tight outfits.
Excellent.
Yeah. It's good to be the king.
If I have 4 hands, I give you 4 thumbs up.
Yeah. But I mean, the inside of this place is thumping. It's very busy. There's people all over the place, and some dancing on the floor, others at the bar drinking. There's quite a bit of ambiance in here. There are some laser lights that kind of zip around a little bit from the top across the reflective surfaces on the ground. I mean, you haven't played part 2, but Dark Star Lounge shows up in Mass Effect 2, so there's some visuals there. I'll post it up in the chat after the game, so you have a kind of a feel for it. But As you're keeping on the lookout, go ahead and give me a perception check.
Okay. Perception. I have expertise in that.
Yeah.
Total of 18.
Okay, not bad. It doesn't take you too long from when you're in here that you see the lady fitting that same description. Sitting by herself, looks like she's kind of nursing a drink and just relaxing in a booth by herself.
And I look for anybody else who seems to be taking an interest in her as well. Do I find anybody like looking at her, staring at her, anything like that?
Why don't you go ahead and give me another check, a separate perception check. As you're scoping out the club.
Oh.
Total of 25.
Nice. Okay, you do see that there's another individual in here that is doing so. Not sitting, but he's close to the bar. Kind of a surly-looking human. Probably seen some stuff. Just got his drink, and he is being fairly careful about it, but he is kind of also scanning the crowd and but looking in her direction as well.
Can I get a bead on the person, the surly human, if he looks like seasick or any type of undercover security?
I mean, he could be undercover security. He's definitely not seasick.
Okay.
He's not clean enough for it.
Okay.
Yeah, you've been around enough to at least point at, I mean, yeah, he could be undercover, but seasick tends to have a rarefied air about them because they're Citadel security, so they always tend to try to be very clean looking, like a typical police officer. He doesn't fit that mold.
Got it. Okay. All right. Then I will casually go up to the person, the main person with they have the logo on them, I take it as well? Okay. Go up to them and I go, the seat taken?
Ah, Mr. Bryan, thank you for coming.
Seat taken.
Surprised my reputation actually precedes me. That's not usual for what I do. Not bad.
I try to be informed as best as possible, and I figured when your Volus friend got word that he might send something to you.
Excellent. Well, I hear you have contracts, or at least one. Is this for just one, or are we waiting for others?
There are some potential others that may be showing. Did you want anything to drink while we give it a few more minutes?
That's an excellent question. The answer is yes.
So she motions a waiter to come walking over. Turian ale?
Go for it.
Okay, so they give you a long, slender, kind of lute looking like glass, and they pour some shimmering liquid in it with a little bit of fizz.
Excellent. I take a drink, see what it's like.
Okay. Why don't you go ahead and at this point give me a Constitution save?
Okay.
Oh dear.
Oh, not bad. Roll the 16.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, it's potent. You within your first drink, you know enough. This is definitely not something you're going to shot. It's got kick. So this is one of them sipping drinks.
That is definitely a drink. Sit back in my chair.
And you witness this as well, Eric, that somebody has approached and they're now sharing drinks.
Okay, once I see the drinks flowing, I'm gonna walk on over.
Okay.
Introduce myself. Couldn't help but notice the logo on your arm there. I'm assuming that you know me as well.
Mr. Cassius, why don't you take a seat? I believe there's still room.
Will do.
Speaking of which, the woman is human. I
Okay.
didn't specify that before, sorry.
Well, I think you did when you said that she had auburn hair.
Could
All right,
be
I'm
in
gonna
a
sit
sorry
down
with a
and,
wig.
Oh,
No, I'm just kidding.
I don't know if I like that, man. I tried to like it, but I don't know if that's gonna work. I'm gonna drink my drink and just watch for a little bit. I'm
Okay.
assuming we're waiting for others.
There have been some others, yes. I'm not going to wait forever, but there are others. Did you want something to drink, Mr. Cassius?
Oh, I've already got one.
Oh, very well.
You should definitely try the tree and ale. And I push mine closer to him.
I'm gonna while I'm holding mine, I'm gonna take a drink of his.
Okay. Go ahead and make a Constitution save.
Ooh, man, you better pass it. 17.
All right, not bad, not bad. Yeah, you come up with the exact same assertion. This is a sip and
It's
drink.
like an IPA.
Yeah, this is a sip and drink. You don't pound one of these
I gotcha.
unless you're like
Make
Krogan or
the
something. You got 4 stomachs.
the Patrick Bateman. Like, that's pretty nice, man.
All right,
Push his
so
drink back to him.
those of you who are outside, the crowd at this point is starting to disperse. The CSEC officer's keeping his eye, but doesn't really seem to be. He's not engaging. He's just kind of looking over from afar. And as the crowd ends up dispersing, Tila, your sister is kind of standing there. And the look on her face isn't really like disgruntled or anything. She's not really. It's very clear she's not sure what she's seeing.
I'm unprepared to see her at this point, so I'm just gonna go ahead and not that it's just shocking to me that I fell this way, and then I look up and like, oh, hello, past. So I'm just gonna continue sitting down for a second, and I'm just gonna kind of look at her before I get up.
It's like that scene in Bridesmaids where she's got to go to the bathroom, but she's walking across the street. She gets lower and lower. She's like, "Oh, what's happening?"
It's happened. It's happened. It's happened.
Once I can tell that she's seen me and she doesn't really respond, I'm gonna go ahead and approach and just say, Taylor.
I'm gonna look at her and like, okay, well, nice. It was nice to meet you, Taylor. I kind of bow to you, and I'm like, and I start to walk away. Like,
I like as he does that, I'm kind of like not focused on him just because I'm like, ugh, oh wow, okay. So I'm gonna look at her and say, Doran, funny meeting you here.
Are you all right?
I'm fine as can be. If mom sent you to tell me something, then you can just take that back. If that's why you're here.
I'm definitely walking away.
Todd, give me a perception check while they're in the midst of talking.
A 12.
Okay. So as your uncomfortable meter inside your mask is starting to raise at their conversation, so you're like, it's time for this quarian to beat feet.
Right.
And as you turn around and start to walk away, you start to see the CSEC officer coming back your direction.
Oh, I turn it back around and go back to
That's one thing. That's one thing you've learned at this point, that people tend to, within the first couple of days you've been here, people tend to watch out for you, and if something's happened, you guys tend to get the blame for it, even unjustly.
Yeah. I don't want him I don't want to be alone when he walks out.
Okay.
So
Okay.
To tell her, and I'm gonna wait for a point where I can break in the conversation and say, "C-sex on the way."
I didn't see what happened, but do you need assistance?
No, I am not in need of assistance at this time. Are you in need of assistance? Is that why you're here?
Inside, I can feel it get colder. That's weird.
Outside, I'll put my jacket on.
Then I will leave you be. I have other business.
Fine, take your other business.
I'll turn
But why
around.
are you here?
I'm meeting someone at the club.
So you weren't here for me?
No, actually, I wasn't aware you were on the Citadel.
What's your business here? Mom didn't send you?
Look, I know we've had our disagreements, but I don't work for her anymore.
That's an improvement.
Jerome, is C-Stack still on the way?
Oh yeah.
I'm like, ladies, this engaging conversation. C-Stack is still on the way, right there.
Perhaps we should move.
Did you do something illegal?
No, falling is not illegal.
I just don't like, C-Stack doesn't like me. I'm not. I just.
But as this Quarian is quite alerted, we should probably make our way to a destination rather than being out here.
Well, good luck. Whatever that was.
Yeah, good luck to you.
And I'm gonna
Good luck to us all. Did you need help off the ground, Rotella?
I'm gonna give kind of a curious look to the Quarian and just shrug and turn around and go to the club.
Okay.
I give her a friendly wave and like, sister. I heard you guys talking about mom.
Yeah, Quarian, what's your name?
I already said Prazaran Narnima.
I don't believe you said that to me, but I'm.
That's when you told me your name was Tella. Did you harder than you?
Yeah, I forgot.
That's okay. But you're still on the ground. Can I get you up?
Yes, please. And we should make our way inside of this establishment post haste, just to avoid further inquiry.
I'm with you. Since you're with me, that's fantastic. Again, thank you so much for saving my life. That was quite something.
Well, I'm certainly glad you didn't get eaten or splattered.
I as well. Yeah, I'm good with machine parts, but not. I can heal. Well, anyway, I have a few credits. I can pay our way into the club if it's not too pricey.
For sure. I've got nowhere to be, and I would like to stay inside for a bit.
And I've never been here. This is an interesting place. I'd definitely like to check it out.
So you two start making it like post. She, your sister at this point has already walked off, but you guys have had a bit of a conversation. As you get to break to make for the club, the CSEC officer was pretty close at that point. But as you two start walking off towards the club, he pauses and watches. And as you two like get up to the door, there's a big Krogan standing there. Krogan are large. Think almost rhinoceros looking dinosaur reptile things, just like really big looking guys, and if you Google it, you'll get all kinds of pictures. They're huge. And he's standing there, and as you two come walking up, and he just looks at you two, and he's like, "Heck of a day, Asarian. Can you get past the suit?"
I'm. Excuse me?
Do I ask you for the pay, or is the kid in the suit paying?
Oh, I'm going to pay. I'm. Excuse me, sir. I'm sorry. I didn't understand. How many credits is it to come in?
He just holds out a reader.
I like a credit card kind of thing, or what do we do?
Yeah, you just swipe.
I'm really hesitant because I don't have a lot of credits. I'm like, how much, if you don't mind my asking?
I don't think he's gonna stay, man.
Yeah, he's like, you got 20.
I do have that. Yeah, I'm paying for both of us. Okay, I'm good to go. And I just swipe it. Is that what I'm doing?
So yeah, you just.
Whoop. No, I'm not sure what to do. I'm like, I just swipe.
Yeah.
So
and he looks at Tella, and he's like, "You got a heck of a date. You sure he got the quads?"
I think we'll be just fine. Thanks.
So he motions for the two of you to come in.
I like the music. Dun, dun, dun. It's kind of like the way, like I don't know. It's very rhythmic. Dun, 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 dun.
The system is down. The system is down. But yeah, as soon as you two come walking in, even if they're not looking at you, Tella, at this point, you know all eyes are on you. I mean, you two, as you're walking in, just look like you're here on a date together, and he is just all enamored with like looking at everything, and it's weird.
I'm gonna like strongly nudge him with my elbow and hey.
What?
Try to be a little bit less obvious. Act natural.
Okay.
Well,
act like anybody else.
Todd, the benefit of having the full suit that you have, and the fact that it's really hard to see your eyes behind that shell, you could kind of just like not really move your head and just have your eyes dart everywhere. Yeah. You could kind of get away with that unless somebody's right up in your face. You could get away with that and excitedly look everywhere.
So she can probably see my glowing eyes darting all over the place, but anything further than 5 feet, they don't really see them.
Yeah. Especially in this
cool.
lighting. Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I'll stop bouncing.
Okay. So Doran, at this point, the contact information that you were given, you can see that there is a booth right now that has 2 other people in it, as well as looks like the individual you were advised to meet. And they seem to be drinking.
I'm going to go right up to them and just kind of sweep my eyes over and then address the woman.
Okay. Doran. Thank you for making it. You're actually right on time. I'm not really surprised. Good job with that other deal.
I'm very interested to know how you heard about that.
Who do you think helped PB?
Well, I suppose she didn't actually give me a name of her client.
So please, there's still room at the booth. Gentlemen, if you would slide over to let the lady in.
Scooch.
I do so.
Did you want anything to drink? Let me guess. Thessia Temple.
You understand I don't take strong drinks on the job.
Oh, then you should have this Turian ale. And I slide the ale.
Thank you. I will abstain.
You're missing out.
Very well.
I'm familiar with Turian ale.
And so she says, lady and gentlemen, thank you all for coming this evening for this not so generalized inquiry. If you must, you may call me Brooks. And it looks like she's about ready to start speaking again. And then she pauses and looks and she says, Doran, I don't recall sending an invitation to your sister. Did you bring her along as well? Looks like she's with a technician who is enjoying the scenery.
I'm going to look around and notice that they followed me into the club. Did they see me there?
Why don't you guys give me a perception check to see if you can spot where Doran is?
Not with the floor, I don't.
Yep, nope.
This is my night to roll low. So. Well, I did get the 123, so that's I'm happy. So
I got lucky number 13.
Lucky number 13. Okay. Tella, you actually do spot her. It's not terribly hard to find your sister, especially since you just recently ran into her. She seems to be at a meeting at a table.
Does she?
But when you glance, yeah, and when you glance over, you're one of those things like you just spotted that, and then your first instinct is to go, okay, well, where's the guy, who I'm with, and you try. I mean, you've been telling him not to make it so obvious or look so excited or whatnot. He's at this point just staring at a dancer at a pole, like gyrating around and whatnot, and it's not like sex or anything of that nature is completely foreign to Quarians. It's not. But like this sort of activity is pretty unusual for them, and he's kind of enamored.
I'm gonna first when I make eye contact with my sister, I'm just gonna go ahead and stare at her for a second, and then I'm gonna look back to my not partner, but the Quarian I saved.
He's
your sidekick.
I'm gonna put my hand on his shoulder. It's a great show, but maybe don't stare.
They bounce as if they have independent orbits when she's on that. It's amazing the way she does that. That's
what the body can do. Some bodies, at least.
Well, yeah, it's very.
It's quite impressive.
To be without a suit.
So she's a sorry too. I mean, you don't do that, do you? Just
if I wanted to, I could.
Okay.
Oh no, you didn't. The real reason why Asari are all women.
We sit better. No, I'm kidding. Why are I'm my sister is here. I feel like I should just leave as soon as it's safe to. But like, why are you here? You clearly have a lot of attention. Okay. And I don't feel...
In general, the galaxy's mad at us. Okay.
No, I understand that, but my point is, I don't want to leave you to get eaten. So
I've been in the Citadel 3 days. 3 days. That's all. I was at the hostel. I got a room. It didn't lock. The guy was watching a Taurian soap opera, and I figured I'd turn off the power. And then when I got out, I bumped into the guy with the teeth, and I ran away, and I barreled over you. And
Yeah, 3 days, exactly. So 33.3% of your time was almost getting eaten. So would you like my help?
Sure. I mean, it was great to meet you. I, yeah, I, I'm really good with engines. Okay. I don't know if you've got a ship.
No,
Um,
no. I believe you. I don't have a ship myself, but I work in odd jobs. So I feel like I'm just gonna wait here until you're ready to leave to make sure that you get where you're going safely.
I, honestly, I don't know how long it'll be safe. Like the guy out front, how long will he wait outside for me to leave? Like, or do you think it's safe now? I mean, I don't know. I mean,
Not sure.
So while you two are kind of talking and debating the finer points of whether you should stay or you should go, Brooks looks to Doran and he says, "Would you motion them forward? They're starting to garner eyes."
She's here on her own business. It's completely coincidental that she's here.
I remain unconvinced.
I haven't seen my sister in many years.
Well, now you can have a reunion. Why not take the advantage?
when Asari says many years, is that like decades or centuries? It's like,
Yeah, sorry, lived to be very, very old.
right.
Did you want to speak with her?
If I understand correctly, she's an independent contractor, yes? Or do you not know that either?
You would know more than I.
Oh. Why don't you make the introductions then?
I'm gonna stare at my sister until she sees me. And then I'm gonna crook a finger.
I'm gonna meet that gaze and I'm just gonna cock my eyebrow.
Your sister's
And then
staring
I'm
at
gonna grab
It's sister sign language, man.
I'm gonna grab my Quarian by the bicep and lead us to the table.
and we're gonna go see your sister that's staring at us. Okay.
This should be interesting.
There's a human at the table.
There's a Quarian on my arm.
Okay.
When they get there, I'm gonna look kind of nonplussed, but nevertheless.
Mm-hmm.
Brooks, Tila Vasava, and her companion.
We're not companions. We just met.
Miss Tasava, does your +1 have a name?
Companion.
Yes, I am. Okay. I kind of bow and I'm like, I'm Prazaran Narnima. I have just recently started my pilgrimage. You're the first human that I've met.
Welcome to the Citadel, Mr. Nanima.
I'm gonna wave my hand in the air so he can see me. Also a human.
There's another human. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see you there. She's
and gets him with a finger gun. Miss Tasava, do I understand correctly that you are an independent contractor of sorts?
If you mean me, Miss Tasava, yes, I am.
Well, I was looking directly at you, so yes.
should I stay or should I leave? I'm sorry. I've just met Tella. I don't want to intrude.
No, we can bring up a chair for you. How's that? Would you like a chair?
I just want to make sure I'm supposed to be here. That's all.
I see. So she motions for a waiter. Waiter, could you bring us a chair for Dante, please?
I'll see.
I'm not even supposed to be here today.
Please, we were potentially discussing some business, and I think it might behoove the two of you to listen, if you're available. If I am to understand, I'm going to refer to you as Dante, since your name is daunting as of this point. It's more of a term of endearment than an insult. But
You can call me Praza. Praza's okay.
Praza, okay. Praza, help me understand. Your pilgrimage is one where you seek to bring things back to your migrant fleet. Is that correct?
Yes.
Obviously, I'm not Quarian, so I'm not fully versed in what it is you do. But that would be a good summary. Yes.
Yeah. My last ship, my birth ship was Nima, and so I've only been on my birth ship, and I've just begun. I begun my pilgrimage, and so I'm supposed to get something within the galaxy to bring back and better the flotilla.
And what exactly is it that you do outside of point out humans?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be rude. I mean, you two are the first humans I've met yet. I'm really good with engines, mechanics, engineering, science, electronics.
Very well.
That's my
Interesting.
I can do some. I've learned to drive some vehicles. I've done work on the starship as far as engines there.
Very well. I get it.
I got drone.
Interesting. So then perhaps let me lay out why exactly this meeting is here, and it may be fortuitous that you tagged along, Prazo.
My life, by the way.
I'm sorry, what was that? You kind of broke up.
She saved my life, by the way.
Oh.
It was impressive. That's all I got to say.
Well, noted.
I'm just going to go ahead and nod my head.
I represent an individual who at this point will remain nameless, as such things go, who is assembling a team of specialized individuals for a number of tasks that we are going to have in the very near future. This would be an enduring contract and one that would yield potential greater gains the longer you are a part of this team. It would be operating outside of usual social boundaries. You may make of that as you will.
Well, I'm used to operating outside of social boundaries. Sounds good so far.
Not my typical job.
Well, it would be an ongoing. It would not be just the one job. It's the formation of a team of specialists. We have a number of projects that we are going to be looking into. And we're looking for other individuals who might help those goals.
Are these goals of the legal kind?
They could be classified as mathematically immoral at times.
Oh, that's kind of scary.
Well, that's not scary. You just make up your own rules as you go. It's fine.
There are plenty of rules already. No need to make up your own.
Well, I didn't say we'd be making up our own rules. But you
I mean-
must admit that there are some rules specifically designed only to benefit certain individuals.
That is true.
Absolute truth.
Rules don't mean anything. It's the intention behind the mission. As long as we're not doing any harm to good people, I have no issue with that.
Well, then, if it helps, there is a moral ambiguity to what it is we'll be doing, with the intention of the benefit of other races. Whether we
I'm all ears.
succeed in that, of course, is entirely upon who we are able to hire for this specialized team and how successful those individuals will be. If you are interested, we have a proposed test operation for those who would like to be involved. And should you pass, then a contract would be drawn up.
What type of pay scale are we looking at here?
Lucrative, but not solely in monetary gains.
I think my character's just now catching on to what we're talking about when you started talking about the lucrative and pay scale.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, wait, are you hiring a crew like for a ship?
You may look at it that way. That is one way of looking at a team of specialists.
All right.
When does this test supposed to go down?
Within the next couple of days, depending upon how this meeting goes and who we bring on board.
Well, I'm all about lucrative. I'm not necessarily in league with being the benefit of everybody, but if we get to hurt bigots, then I'm in.
I will state, since you phrased it in such a form, this is not a Cerberus operation.
What does that mean?
Yes. Cerberus are a group of human extremists. They are a racist organization determined to see humanity above all.
Gotcha.
Oh, I don't like that.
I don't like that either. I am in.
Anyone not human would not be.
Precisely, which is why we're all meeting, if it wasn't self-evident. And there are, of course, other opportunities to be gained from this. As I understand, there are respective personal goals that some of you may be seeking. And if the team works out the way I suspect it will, I may be in a position to assist with some of those things being brought to fruition.
Does she look at anyone specifically when she
No.
says that?
No, she kind of lets that hang out there.
Let it air dry.
Mm-hmm.
Everything sounds great so far.
Like I said, you had me at lucrative.
Well,
How very mercenary of you, but I do appreciate your candor.
I'm open to a test. As to the rest of your business goals, I will withhold judgment until I know more.
How many people do I have to share a room with?
For now, we're just speaking about the test phase. But if this is a full operation, a team of specialists, again, as you were, you would have your own living space.
Really? Like mine and door locks and everything?
Yes, replete with as many door locks as you require.
Wow.
Do they not have door locks where you're from?
At the youth hostel I was running away from, they didn't. And,
I thought you were running from being eaten.
There's a longer story. I thought I explained it, but that's just. I was running away from being eaten. I was that after turning the power off and kicking that guy.
Why did you turn the power off?
The landlord or owner of the facility was not really paying attention to me. I was trying to explain the door wouldn't lock. He was watching a Torian soap opera, so I figured if the power was off, he'd have to pay attention.
Well, while he's talking, I'm just gonna get comfortable in my chair.
Okay.
I'm just looking at him in shock, thinking to myself, what did I get myself into? Why did I help this guy?
That's a bit extreme. You know, there are channels you can go through. Why didn't you just go to a different hostel?
3 days walking around the Citadel, everybody I talked to, when I finally got to the VI like info station, and I found a hostel. I mean, I'd say I'm looking for a place to stay, and then suddenly I'm getting beat up. You know, like I was ending in the wrong places, and so it was finally a place to stay, and I found I had a room, and my room didn't lock. I was just frustrated. That's all.
You should file a formal complaint before you take it in your own hands to turn off the power.
Mr. Narnima, I would like to let you continue on your adventures, as you were. But if I understand correctly from what I'm hearing from everyone, it sounds like that all of those present are interested, or do I misunderstand? Because I did not hear anything from the other Tasava. And she's looking right at Missy's character.
You're not just going to let your sister hang, are you?
Come on, companion. You're the first person I've been hanging out with.
Yeah, I feel like we have things to discuss. So
very well. Well, if you are interested, she slides a scrap of paper onto the table for everybody to review or take a picture of or whatnot. Be at this location at this hour, and a shuttle will take you to your destination, where we will discuss the finer details of the test.
What do we need to bring?
Whatever you would normally bring to an operation. I would suspect weapons and armor, omni tools, that sort of thing.
I'm looking to sell or trade my medium armor for some lighter armor. It was a hand-me-down, and I can't wear it. It's too heavy. And I've been trying to trade it somewhere. So I need lighter armor for my legs and arms, but because my family heirloom, it does not fit me. The chest piece does, but the rest don't. I've been asking, and no one seems to know where I can trade this.
And that sounds great. I suppose your friends at the table can assist you with that. Thank you all for meeting me this evening, and I look forward to seeing you, if you decide to show, in 2 nights.
I don't want to go back to that hostel.
Does she stay at the table, or does she leave us alone?
She stands and then walks away. And with that, since we're at about 9:30, we'll go ahead and stop there. Work in the morning and whatnot. So, cool. Thank you all very much for playing tonight. go ahead and write down 100 XP on your character sheets.
Dude, I had a good time. This was really cool.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Where do we put XP?
I think it's
XP.
on the second
one.
page.
Yeah, top of the
There's one
page.
top of the page.
Oh,
Yeah, to the right
Oh,
of your
yeah.
character name.
Yep,
yeah,
yep.
Brittany's right there.
So, based on this time frame, would we be good to play again on December the 2nd?
Oh, there it is. I see.
Yeah, I'm good.
I'm good. I don't have any plans.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that'll work.
Alrighty, awesome. So I'll go ahead and stop the stream there. And for those of you who were watching or may watch it on the upload or whatnot, thank you all for tuning in, and bye.